Greetings! My name is Jason Yee. I'm a financial analyst with a background in engineering. I've spent a lot of time figuring out how the Canada Pension Plan works, and now the CPP has become the focus of my work. I like to help people sort out the CPP for their own priorities and individual circumstances. Today I'm going to describe the purpose of the CPP and answer why it was enhanced. I have a simple infographic at the end of the video that uses a pie analogy. The pie analogy summarizes things by using a nice picture, but for now, let's get into it. I'm going to start at the beginning. The white paper on the Canada Pension Plan is credited with being the earliest explicit statement of the purpose of the CPP in an official document. The white paper reads, "The purpose of the Canada Pension Plan is to provide reasonable minimum levels of income available at normal retirement ages." On careful review of the white paper, each of these three items embodies a fundamental concept about the CPP. Reasonable embodies the idea that the more you put in, the more you'll get out. In pension jargon, this is what is meant by the CPP being a contributory plan. What you put in is your contributions. Since contributions are based on your level of earnings, in human talk, reasonable can also be said the more you make, the more you'll get back out. Taking this further, it's considered reasonable that for someone who puts in less to receive a smaller pension amount. Likewise, it is considered reasonable that for someone who puts in more to receive a larger pension amount. The average of your earnings over your working life is a single number that represents what you put in. I refer to this as your lifetime average earnings. The earnings replacement rate is an amount, as a percentage, that is applied to your lifetime average earnings when calculating your CPP retirement pension. Prior to the recently enacted reforms, the CPP targeted replacing 25% of your lifetime average earnings as a retirement pension. 25% was considered to be an adequate minimum because it is expected that other sources of retirement income provide the rest of what you'll need to maintain your standard of living. The architects of the Canada Pension Plan also acknowledged the importance of individual choice and consideration for one's own situation and preferences. This is why there's a lot of optionality built into the CPP. The starting age is the most important of these options. This is because the starting age can really move the needle about how much money you'll receive from the CPP. Even though the three-pillar framework, as we know it, came later, the same basic concept was envisioned by the architects of the CPP. The white paper describes that the expectation is for you to maintain your standard of living in retirement, government programs should establish a minimum level of support. This is pillar number 1. The rest of what you need is expected to come from employer-sponsored programs. This is pillar number 2. And your own personal savings. This is pillar number 3. Now I understand that there are other versions of the three-pillar framework. In some, the OAS is pillar number 1, the CPP and QPP are pillar number 2, and employer-sponsored programs and personal savings is grouped together as pillar number 3. However you want to slice it and dice it, the CPP's role in the Canadian retirement income system has evolved since the white paper and its original conception. More recently, there have been unfavorable trends with pillars number 2 and number 3. There's been a decline in coverage by employer-sponsored pension plans, in particular defined benefit pensions. This means that more of the money from pillars number 2 and number 3 is exposed to market risks. Less is coming from guaranteed sources. There is more pressure on individuals to get it right themselves, whether that is by do-it-yourself or through the advisors that they hire, or the advisors chosen for them in the case of group benefit plans. It was decided to address the weakening of pillars number 2 and number 3 by strengthening pillar number 1. This is why the CPP was enhanced. The enhanced CPP impacts both the reasonable part of the purpose of the CPP and the minimum part. The core principle about what is reasonable remains unchanged. The more you make, the more you'll get back out. What changed is that more contributions are required on your earnings up to the original threshold, an amount that is called the year's maximum pensionable earnings, or YMPE. Also, The level of earnings subject to participation in the CPP has increased to a new higher earnings threshold called the year's additional maximum pensionable earnings, or YAMPE. The other major change is that the amount of earnings replacement, considered to be an adequate minimum, has increased from 25% to 33.33%. The enhanced CPP has two parts. The first additional CPP, or CPP1, started in 2019 and was phased in over 5 years. The second additional CPP, or CPP2, started in 2024 and is being phased in over 2 years. It's going to take 40 years to get the full effect of these changes. By full effect, I mean the full effect of the new higher earnings replacement rates. During the phase-in period, there are factors that adjust the contribution rate. The purpose of the phase-in period is to provide a gradual build-up rather than hitting people and their employers all at once with higher contributions. The factors reduce both the amount of contributions required during the phase-in period and the amount of retirement pension that those years generate compared to the full and final values. The factors start small and progressively scale up over a number of years to their respective full and final values. Coming back to the purpose of the CPP, we see that the enhanced CPP impacts both the reasonable part of the purpose of the CPP and the minimum part. And although the age adjustment rules themselves haven't changed, there are some minor calculation differences between the base CPP and the enhanced CPP. The numbers change and do different things, but the general idea is the same. Let's look at all this another way by considering a pie. You can think about what you're going to get from the CPP by visualizing a pie. I said that reasonable embodies the idea that the more you make, the more you'll get back out. The most you can get is the full CPP pie. Your lifetime average earnings represents your personal slice of the full CPP pie. Someone who has the full amount of pension credits will get the full CPP pie. The earnings replacement rate is applied to your lifetime average earnings to calculate what you'll get back out. The earnings replacement rate is the minimum level of support that the CPP is designed to provide to you. Originally, the CPP targeted replacing 25% of your lifetime average earnings as a retirement pension. Now, with the enhanced CPP, the amount of earnings replacement considered to be an adequate minimum is increasing from 25% to 33.33%. But there's a bit more to it. You have a choice about when you can start the CPP within a range of normal retirement ages. You can get money earlier, but if you do that, you'll get less money, or you can get more money if you start later. As you delay the start of CPP, the amount you'll get becomes bigger. The size of the CPP pie gets larger. That's a simple illustration about how a pie can be used to visualize the purpose of the CPP and how that's related to how much you can get back out of the CPP. I enjoy figuring out stuff like this so that you can get the most out of the CPP based on the options that you have and your own priorities and individual circumstances. That wraps up this video about the purpose of the CPP and why it was enhanced. Take care and bye for now.